Well, welcome once again to the Ahern video podcast. Today we're going to wrap up on part 4, how to sell a transportation company. Over the last 3 series, I've talked about how to establish value, what to do if you're a trucking company, you have values on your equipment, 2, how to go through a sales analysis, 3, how to assemble a team to work with you, 4, how to make sure that your accountant and attorney don't run up the meter, and 5, I provided some variables on costing. But remember, variables are based on a lot of different things. So let's look at a lot of things that could change the dynamics of what the business is actually worth. If you're not making any money, and you historically have not made any money, and you're not taking out any money out of the business, it's your assets less your liabilities plus 2% of your revenue for a 2 to 3 year period. That's it, plus an employment contract if you want to stay and they want you to stay. You're not going to get a multiple of EBITDA by recasting, because it's not going to happen. Now, on the other hand, if you're a very profitable company, you still have to be concerned with a couple of things. Strategic buyers look for how much revenue is concentrated with any one customer, how much of your backhaul revenue is with freight brokers. 3, what kind of trends you've had. For example, if every year your profit's going up and your sales are going up, and you've got consistency for a 3-year period, you're going to be able to get more than average market value for the company. On the other hand, if your revenue is consistently going down, your profits are consistently going down, that's going to obviously drive down the cost of your business. If you're a larger company, they're going to look at the strategic management you have in place. If you are the business and you were to get hit by a car tomorrow, and that business could not perpetuate itself, then that's not going to have a lot of value to a strategic buyer to receive a lot of money. The reason I mention this, every time I talk to a client when we do an operational assessment or a pre-audit before they go to market to sell, I've got a great management team, and we actually assess the management team. 9 out of 10 times they don't. It's not necessarily their fault, but that particular owner has not allowed those people to do their job, so you have an unknown. If you've got one customer that you've had a long time that represents 50% of your business, obviously that's going to have a dramatic effect. If you're in a specific segment of the market that's been impacted severely, like fracking right now, sand and stuff like that, that's going to have a significant impact. And that may be a signal for you not to sell at this time. It's very important that as you're going through the process, you also know what to release and when to release it. And you also have to be prepared for the unexpected. Just when you think you're going to cross the finish line, something else happens. Just when you think you're going to cross the finish line, something else happens. And then when you get close to crossing the finish line, you start second and third guessing. Is this what I should really do? Am I making the right decision? All of a sudden I've got a new customer. Maybe I should keep it a couple more years. These are normal feelings. Don't let it get in the way. I can give you horror stories where seller went right down to the wire. They changed their mind at the last minute. 2 years later, they were broke. When you decide to sell your business, it's for one basic reason: to give yourself and your family financial security. I don't care if you're 65 years old, you are not over the hill. You're just going on to the next phase of your life. What you have to realize, trucking is a very litigious business. It's a pennies business. It's a business that people don't like us because they don't understand us. How many times have you seen where the truck is on the side of the road, a private passenger runs in the back of the truck in a designated area, and there's a $50 or $100 million settlement? It happens all the time. Because what happens is somebody in the family was affected, and it's an emotional rather than a factual settlement. The time to sell is when you're ready to go on to the next phase of your life. The time to sell is when you want to protect your financial interest. The time to sell is really something that's internal. Don't let a business broker, an M&A advisor, or an attorney tell you when the time is. I made a conscious decision 28 years ago that I was not going to travel $250,000 to $350,000 miles a year in the air. I wanted to be at all my kids' games, so I changed my whole profession. It was very difficult. But it's something that I never forgot, because I realize one thing, and this is what you have to look at. This is a very stressful business we're in. It's a very cyclical business we're in, and we only have a certain bank of time. No matter what kind of shape you're in, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how well things are going, it is going to change. We have challenges in our industry, and they're getting worse and worse and worse. There are no drivers. The driver situation is going to get worse. Technology is forcing us to spend more and more money. CSA compliance, hours of service, federal government regulations, taxes going up, shippers complaining about rates, fuel spiking going down, up, down. It's very difficult to determine what your costs are. So when you take all of these things, if you survive what I consider was the second Great Depression, you are a success story. But if you're not making any money, then don't expect to hit a home run unless you have a lot of equity in your equipment. The older your equipment is, the less likelihood that buyer is going to want to buy the equipment, so you have to be prepared to liquidate the equipment yourself. Until next time, thank you for attending the podcast.